The New York Yankees are going to be put in a very, very interesting scenario when this offseason comes. They desperately are in need of offense, yet, how are they going to get that offense? That is the big question mark. How do you fix this New York Yankees offense that has been struggling for so long? How do they figure it out? What money are they going to have to spend? And who do they spend it on even when they go to spend it? We're going to discuss all that right here on Bleacher Brawls. My name's Derek. I'm here with John. Let's dive straight into this. John, I want to get your thoughts just kind of on the Yankees offense as a whole, first of all. What are your thoughts on the Yankees offense? You know, obviously, having Aaron Judge is great, but at the same time, I think the weakness of the Yankees offense really showed when Aaron Judge missed time. And even since he's came back, he hasn't been that same Aaron Judge that's just put the team on his back and let's go, because I mean, that's hard for someone to do in the first place. To do it after coming back from an injury with no minor league rehabbing, that's extremely tough for anyone to do.
Yeah, I can't put anything really on Aaron Judge. He's done everything he can, and for what it's worth, Dodger Stadium just caught Jerickson Profar, however you pronounce his name. He just got hurt basically in the same kind of injury Aaron Judge just had at that stadium. With that, so Aaron Judge he really gutted it out, like you said, coming back without any rehab games. Aaron Judge is everything you can ask for as a leader in this lineup. And he's the only guy I have any faith in for the future. Only guy I want on the team going forward. Because, like you said, when he was out, this lineup fell apart. Extenuating circumstances a little bit with like a guy like Anthony Rizzo coming back from a concussion. But that's still, you can't really use that as an excuse because they knew he was hurt. I mean, it's pretty obvious. The fans suspected he had a concussion. I suspected he had a concussion. I don't know why they never sat him. And you start looking at the other problems in this lineup. And I think there's a bit of a fallacy that the Yankees are home run, walk, or strikeout, the three outcome kind of team. Because the Yankees did try to utilize some contact hitting guys on this team. For what it's worth, DJ LeMahieu is a contact hitter. Gleyber Torres ideally is a contact hitter. He's not like a power hitter anymore. Anthony Volpe has 15, 16 home runs. They weren't really expecting that. They're expecting more of a contact hitter type of guy with a lower home run total. So there's a few guys on this Yankees lineup who were supposed to be contact hitters, and then you had guys like Judge and Stanton and Rizzo. Judge and Stanton were supposed to be the power guys, and Rizzo was expected to do what he did until he had that concussion, which was a 300 average, 11 home runs. He was like raking because the shift had been removed. So a few things did go wrong, and I think that's what the Yankees are going to do is rely on that and say, oh well, I think Cashman is really, really good. The one thing he actually does well is make excuses for himself. So I think there's going to be a lot of excuses about how poorly, for reasons why this team underperformed, but it was a poorly constructed team. And now they're in some serious trouble as they have to fix this because this is not a team that you could run back next season.
No, they can't run it back. From an offensive standpoint, definitely not. And the thing that gets really interesting with this Yankees team, you look at their payroll for next year, according to Fangraphs, they're going to already be at 196 million, over 196 million on the luxury tax threshold. That gives them, that's going to give them what, 40, just under 40 million, or something like that, around 40 million to play with. 40 million sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, I mean, Severino's a free agent. Not that the Yankees are going to bring him back, but you still need a starter to fill his spot in the rotation, whether it's him or someone else. Frankie Montas is gone. Yeah, that's money off the books, but Frankie Montas could have maybe been a potential fifth starter for this team, and he's been out all year, right? They probably, you can make the argument they could use a starter, even if it's a back end guy, which is still going to cost some money. Wandy Peralta is a free agent. Do they want to bring him back? Donaldson has the mutual option, which that's going to be bought. The Yankees are going to decline that most likely. I would assume they would. That's going to buy him.
Let's not assume anything, all right? Like, they brought him in
I say I
defended
just.
that move.
I mean,
if they pick up his option, I would be enraged but not surprised. Sorry to interrupt, Derek, but like, let's just be honest. The Yankees are idiots.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. No, it would be kind of dumb though for them to pick them up. Like, Gleyber Torres is an expiring deal after next year, so that's an interesting situation of what happens with him. That's the thing. It's like I don't really know where the Yankees go. Harrison Bader's also a free agent. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, I mean, decent bench infielder. Like, they need probably 2 outfielders because they're not going to trust any of their young guys. That's how the Yankees are. They don't trust their young players. So they need 2 outfielders. They're going to need a center fielder, whether it's Bader or they go get someone else. They need a left fielder. They're probably going to need a third baseman because unless LeMahieu's going to play third base every day, which I don't see that happening, honestly. So then you need a third baseman, okay. Now, who's Gleyber Torres playing second base? What happens to DJ LeMahieu? Because he can't DH because Stanton has to DH. It's a total crap show in terms of like what the Yankees need. They arguably might need to trade Gleyber Torres just to put LeMahieu at second base because of the contract he has. Because you're not going to move LeMahieu. Or what are you going to do? Put LeMahieu on the bench? But like, then you're just kind of wasting money at that point. Just having him on the bench. And the Yankees are a team where, I know obviously they're probably going to go over the luxury tax threshold. That's not the thing. The thing is that, yeah, you only have $40 million to get there, and then once you go over, they're only going to have like another $40 million to get to where, not even another $40 million, to get to where they are now, which is under the 4th threshold, which they won't go over. Even that, like in terms of, you're looking at the holes you got to fill, at least 1 starter, right? Maybe even 2 starters, like, you know, a number 5 starter and then another mid-rotation, then a mid-rotation arm. You need, like I said, 2 outfielders, probably a third baseman. Heck, the Yankees might even want a catcher, right? Which, who knows, right? So they're very much in a, like, what the heck do they do spot. And for this year to be looking for bats and heading into this free agency, it's not the year. There aren't that many good options out there in terms of position players.
And Shohei Ohtani is not coming to the Yankees. Any Yankees fan that thinks the Yankees are going to go out and get Ohtani, he's not coming to the Yankees. I think he has absolutely zero desire to play in New York, and I think he already kind of has an idea. If he doesn't know where he wants to play, he has a very short list of where he is willing to play, and the Yankees aren't one of them. And I don't think fixing the team through free agency is the answer anyway. Like Cashman, you look at all these huge contracts the Yankees had on the books this year. You had several guys making over $15 million this season, and you got nothing out of them. Stanton, LeMahieu, Rizzo. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the rest of this list. But Judge and Cole were the only 2 guys that are getting paid that really contributed. I love DJ LeMahieu. He didn't really contribute this season. I really had a lot of faith in Giancarlo Stanton to finally kind of put it together. He didn't really contribute. Severino, what's the opposite of contribute? I mean, at least Stanton and LeMahieu went out there and like did something, sort of. I mean, Severino was horrible. There's a lot of holes in this lineup, and I don't think throwing money at it is going to fix it. You've repeatedly whiffed on these free agent deals. There's no reason to believe you're going to start getting them right now. The Yankees really are in a position. I know they're not going to fire Brian Cashman, but he has done such a horrible job. I really think you have to bring in somebody else. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think that's the only way to fix it. As far as the lineup's concerned, though, to get on that I want to fire Brian Cashman tangent that I always get on, yeah, I don't know. I think you mentioned Frankie Montas. I do think the Yankees would consider, actually, if the price is right, bringing him back. They gave up a bunch of pieces for him. They've gotten nothing out of him. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to re-sign him just to kind of salvage that deal and save face a little bit.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what the Yankees do this offseason, though, because, like I said earlier, like, who do you get if you're going to try and fill holes in your roster in terms of batting? The whole thing about fixing their offense. Who are you going to get? Like, your best options. Okay, you need a third baseman. Yeah, Matt Chapman's there. Is he going to sign for the Yankees? I mean, the Blue Jays are going to be hard-pressed to let him sign there. Like, the Blue Jays are going to want to keep him, right? So, there's that. Okay, so if you don't get Chapman at third base, okay, maybe you're going for, like, I don't know, Jamer Candelario, who's having a very good year this year, but at the same time, like, that's probably your second best option. And if he's your second best option, like, in terms of free, like, you look at outfielders, and it's like, okay, like, Cody Bellinger's a good option. That's if the Yankees can sign him. If they can't sign him, then after that, like, in terms of MLB free agents, I mean, it's not a ton. What, Lourdes Gurriel Jr.? I mean, Teoscar Hernandez, like, guys who don't essentially are limited to left field and have to hit to live up to their value. Like, but besides those guys, it's like you can go get Jung Hoo Lee from the KBO, who I love. Love him. Think he's a great player. KBO MVP last year. Did get injured, had to be shut down for the rest of this KBO season with an injury. He's a guy, left-handed hitter, which the Yankees could very much use. Seemingly will be a leadoff hitter kind of type in the big leagues. So could fit the Yankees, definitely. Still, and could bring a little bit of pop from the leadoff spot. But at the same, and can play center field, maybe even left field if Bader does return. But, like, that's still going to cost money, right? And the Yankees, with so many holes to fill, and that's not going to be like the Yankees aren't going to be the only team in on him. There are going to be other teams in on him too, because it's such a weak free agent class in terms of position players, and it's only going to drive the price up. So if you're the Yankees, it's not an offseason to be needing to fix the offense. It really isn't. Yes, you can trade for guys, but even then too, it's like, okay, they really desperately need outfielders, but like I've been looking at the outfield market from the Red Sox point of view, and I'm like, who the heck are they going to trade for? Forget about the Yankees. Like, either team, whoever needs an outfielder, like, good luck getting a good outfielder on the trade market. Because all the good ones that everyone wants either aren't getting traded or are already on good teams.
And the Yankees don't have the pieces to make those deals either. Like, let's be honest here. I don't think they should be going all in on free agency just because it is kind of a weak free agent class. Like, you mentioned that Japanese outfielder, left-handed leadoff hitter. Sure,
Korean.
That sounds great. Like, right, if the Yankees go after a guy like that, wonderful. But outside of that, yeah, sure, maybe Bellinger fits. I don't know. But there's really not a lot out there. I don't think Chapman's necessarily the answer. I mean, as good as he is, I don't want to start throwing more money into long-term deals for aging players. It's just the Yankees have not had success with that. They're not going to be able to make the trades because they don't really have the pieces. I mean, we saw that at this year's trade deadline. We've seen that at any time they've tried to make a deal. Like, other teams know at this point.
And not necessarily they don't have pieces. Yeah, and it's not necessarily they don't have pieces. They don't want to give up the pieces either because they're very stingy with their trade discussions too.
Which is stupid because you're not going to ever let these guys play for the major league club, and that's why other teams have caught on to the fact, like, all right, well, like, we can just hold out. You're going to be stuck one way or another, and Brian Cashman loses all his leverage, which we've just seen it happen. I do think so. At this point, look, you're stuck with a lot of these prospects that you don't want to play and you don't want to trade. Play him. Like, just play Everson Pereira. I want to see what he can do. If he can play at a major league level, great. If he can't, well, then now you know what you have. I don't think Jason Dominguez is ready, and he actually might be hurt if I'm looking this up quickly, but I'm not sure. Don't ruin Jason Dominguez, so if he's not ready, don't bring him up. But I do think Everson Pereira, Trey Sweeney, Austin Wells, anybody that could potentially contribute, now's your time to see it. And I want them to compete next year. I don't know how they're going to do it. So if you have to roll with some of the young guys, you roll with the young guys. You just wasted 1 year of elite Garrett Cole, of Aaron Judge still in his prime. I hate to see them waste another year next year, but I just don't see how this gets fixed.
Yeah, it's really rough for that. They're in a really rough spot because it's like they've spent the money they have, the big contracts, I mean, to be fair, if the Yankees want to trade Process, yeah, you could trade Process. Is his value down a little bit from this last offseason? Yeah, but like you could still move him. You could move a Pereira. You can move a Dominguez. You can move a Wells. But like the Yankees aren't going to do that. Like, let's just be honest with ourselves. Like, the chances the Yankees do that, it just doesn't seem high because they haven't been willing to do it at all anytime recently. And it's like Volpe obviously made sense to not trade. Like, he's the guy. He was like, okay, yes, he's like the top prospect. Yes, you don't trade him. But when you start looking at the Perazzas, and if Peraza can't get into the MLB team, get something for him. If you're just gonna, better than just sticking him in AAA all year after year, right? Like, that's what they got to start looking at, and who's going to fit into that picture. That's the thing, and they could trade Peraza and bring in someone else. Maybe there's a team with extra outfielders, but they need an infielder, a shortstop, or a second baseman, or a third baseman, and they want Peraza. Maybe you can make a deal happen there, and you bring in an outfielder, right? But you have to be willing to trade a guy like a Peraza maybe to make that deal happen, and it doesn't seem the Yankees are willing to do that. I want to get your final thoughts here, John, though. Just overall, this offseason, what would be addressing the offense in terms of just players? Does it just bring in guys in terms of players who can fill the holes? Do you want do you want left-handed bats, which I know has been a big thing among Yankees fans at times, how they want left-handed bats? What's the fit for you? What's the ideal fit for players that are coming in?
The Yankees need a left-handed bat, like you said. Bellinger or the Japanese guy, I already forgot his name. I apologize, everybody.
It's Jung Hoo Lee. He's Korean.
Right. There you go. I'm still going to forget it again because I'm just too massively depressed about with the Yankees' future situation right now. Look, something like that, ideally, yes, a left-handed leadoff hitter that can hit for contact would be ideal. I don't know what they're going to do about pitching, which wasn't really the problem this year, but still, rotator cuff for Cortez, not promising. I don't know. I guess you want a left-handed bat to help the offense, but there's a lot of work to do. It can't just be one thing, and that's the sad situation they're in right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think for baseball, I'll say this just from a baseball perspective. Like, baseball is better when both the Red Sox and Yankees are good. So, hopefully, both the Red Sox and Yankees next year could both, bounce back from their rougher seasons. Because, just as a baseball fan in general, it's more fun when both teams are good. It's not fun when we have to hop on here every week, Red Sox, Yankees, and it's just like both these teams aren't that good, and it's not fun. We want to talk about both teams being good, both teams fighting for the division. That's what we want to talk about here. So hopefully that will come. But if we have to endure it for this year, I think we'll be okay. But we do... I think even from my side of things, on the Red Sox side of things, I'd love to see the Red Sox and Yankees be fighting for first place, not fighting for who's not going to be in last place. I think that would be more ideal. For John, my name is Derek. Thanks for tuning in to Bleacher Brawls. Check out all our links in the description, the Bleacher Brawls website, podcast, Instagram, and Twitter. Plus, like and subscribe so you get notified. And hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever we post. Like I said, for John, my name is Derek. Thanks for tuning in to Bleacher Brawls, and we will see you next time.